So now, I'm not worried about the assessment now, but maybe you take your time to be familiar with vStream. Now let me contact. Okay, so let's start. So we have okay, so now we have how many students, how many people here? 2, 3. Okay, so let's start. Income effect for normal good. So basically, that's common when you become richer, you buy more goods, you consume more, right? So that's for normal good. Okay, for inferior good, so something we call counterintuitive. So counterintuitive, it means it's not. I'd like to like review what we talked on Wednesday, like quickly. So real income. So basically real income is a monetary income over the price level. As you can see that, so basically the real income tell us how much you can buy given your income. So how many product, how many consumption that you can make, it depends on your monetary income. The income in terms of the money. Okay, and the price of good. So imagine that if your income, your labor contract, like you sign a labor contract and they gave you like, I don't know, like 10 or 20 million Vietnam dong. So, and that contract would expire in like 5 years. So over a 5-year period, you receive the same income, 10 or 20 million Vietnam dong, but the price level of good that you consume every day increase. So basically your real income decrease, right? Because now over the 5-year period, you receive the same non-monetary income, but the price increase and the number of goods, the quantity of product that you can buy decrease. So that's when we talk about the real income. Okay. So the real income measure like how many goods that you can buy given your monetary income. So it depends on the price level. Okay. So now if we go back to this question, what is going on when the price change and how it affects the demand of the good? So basically, when the price change, it have two effects. Substitution effect, because change the relative price between two goods. So again, people spend money on many kind of product, but we assume here, so let's say we only have good 1 and good 2. And when the price of good 1 increase, so first it have the substitution effect, because change the relative price between good 1 and good 2. Okay, the second effect we call the income effect, because as you can see that when the price change, let's say the price increase, your real income decrease, and vice versa, when the price decrease, your real income increase. So that's the income effect. Okay, so we have two effects: substitution effect and income effect. Okay, so what happens to real income when prices go down? So when the price level decrease, your real income increase, and when the price goes up, your real income go down. Okay, so now let's talk about how can we sum up the income effect and substitution effect in different kind of market of goods. So let's say normal goods and inferior goods. And so when I left the class on Wednesday, some of you guys still told me that you still cannot understand why we have downward slow demand for normal good and upward slower demand for inferior good. Now, so let's sum up really the income effect and substitution effect. Okay, so when the price of one good basically had two effects if it change. So when a good, the price of good decrease, you can buy more product, and that the income effect, right? And when a good get more expensive, so basically the price increase, you buy less. We call that income effect because it affects via the real income formula. Price goes up, real income decrease. Price go down, real income increase. And when real income increase, you can buy more. Okay. The second effect we call the substitution effect. So when the price of a good decrease, so what does it mean? Let's say you have two goods, education. Let's say like as our example, we talk in class, food and music. When the price of food decrease, what does it mean? Ngọc. Okay, good, that's good. Can you help me, Nghị? Why? Why? No. Sorry for interrupting. So I don't talking about income effect here. So basically income effect, when the price of, okay, I agree with you that when the price of food decrease, so basically you become richer, you can buy more good if you want. So that's the income effect. I'm talking about the substitution effect. So now holding your income constant, holding your income, even holding your real income is constant. When the price of food decrease, what is the opportunity cost of spending money on food? The opportunity cost of go for food decrease, right? When the price of a good decrease, the opportunity cost of spending money on that kind of good decrease, and you consume more on that kind of good. So the people are likely to switch from consuming music less to consuming more food. So that the substitution effect, because the relative price between food over music decrease. Okay, so that's a substitution effect. So actually the substitution effect is easier to understand. So let's say we have two goods. So if the price of one good decrease, so people consume more that kind of good and less on the other. So that's a substitution effect. And vice versa, when the price of good one increase, so people consume less good one and more on good two. So that's a substitution effect. It's always intuitive. Okay. Now, the problem is in terms of income effect. Income effect work in opposite direction for normal good and inferior good. Okay, remember what I said. For normal good, you have high income, you can see more. But for inferior good, you have high income, you can see less. So that's the problem. So income effect work in opposite direction for normal good and inferior good. Okay, like this figure. Okay, so actually substitution effect is easier to understand. Substitution effect, you consume two goods, and price of good one decrease, you consume more good one, less good two, and vice versa. Okay, so for income effect, you have to consider if that's kind of good. Wow. So I just received a notification from Zoom that the free meeting will end up in 10 minutes. I don't know if we are kicked out this room. So next time probably I should use the email of Vic. So Vic, so basically if you go to Vic and you can see the tool, my tool for staff or my tool for student, you can see that they buy they pay for Zooms. So that's kind of pro version, and we can use it either. I'm using the email of UEH. Okay, so let's talk about the opposite effect of income effect between normal and inferior good. So now, as you can see that the figure summarize the effect when the price change. So for the yellow color, so what happens if the price of good and service decrease? So in terms of income effect, household is better off. So you buy more. Okay. This is for normal good. In terms of the substitution effect, the price decrease, the opportunity cost of that good decrease, and you consume that kind of good more. Okay. For the case when, in terms of the case when the price increases, household you worse off, you become poorer, and you buy less. Okay, that's income effect. Income effect for normal good. You can double check with this figure. So higher income, you buy more, and low income, you buy less. On the left figure for normal good. Okay, so for normal good, it's very intuitive. And opportunity cost of good increase, substitution effect, people buy less. Okay, so for normal good, the income effect and substitution effect work in the same direction. Higher price lead to lower quantity of demand, and lower price lead to higher quantity of demand. So that's the problem. So it's very common, like if you say when the price of a good increase, so basically I don't know if it will kick me out. So we 200 Vietnam đồng per year, so not too much. I don't know, but keep in mind that if the Zoom eliminate our Zoom, I will send you another email right away using the Vic account, right? Just if we are kicked out, so please go back, check your email. I will send you another link using Vic account. So now, so basically, the problem is for the inferior good on this slide, it summarized that the income effect work intuitively, counterintuitively. Okay, so when the price of good decrease, so basically the substitution effect still intuitive. Okay, when the price of inferior good decrease, people still buy inferior good less. Sorry, people still buy inferior good more because of substitution effect. Opportunity cost of consuming inferior goods decrease and people buy more. But the problem is in terms of income effect. When your real income, when the price decrease, you feel that your real income increase, you become richer, you consume inferior good less. Okay, so like what we talked in class on Wednesday, like if your income increase, so probably you don't want to use like you don't need to go for street food, you don't need to use like a bus ticket to travel to campus, you switch to private vehicle, or you can go to the restaurant. So the same intuition apply here. Higher income, the people consume less. So that's a problem of income effect for inferior good. Okay, and the same here. So conversely, if the price of inferior good increase, so substitution effect is still understandable. The price of inferior good, the people increase it, people consume less. Okay, but the problem for income effect is when the price of inferior good increase, the people feel that okay, so we are much poorer and we have no option. So they stick to consuming more inferior good. Like I said in class, like for example, for rural, for household living in like rural area in Vietnam, when the price of rice increase, so they feel that okay, so we are too much poor. We cannot go to the market for like fixed pork, beef, chicken, or any kind of meat. Then we have to eat more rice. And then when the price of good increased, the people actually consume more inferior good. So that's the income effect. Okay. So if you understand clearly the substitution effect and income effect, so it would be very, very easy for you to cover all the remaining material in this topic. We apply the same framework to the case of labor and leisure. We apply it to the saving market, labor market. Okay, so we apply the same logic here. So this table summarize what I say when we sum up the total effect. So a plus represent an increase in the quantity of demanded, and a minus represent the decrease in the quantity of demanded. Okay, so T means total effect, SE means substitution effect, and IE means income effect. Okay, so for first, let's talk about normal good. When the price decrease, people become richer and they buy more. That become income effect. So the quantity of demand increase. And when the price decrease, the people consume more because the opportunity cost of consuming that kind of good decrease. So that's substitution effect. So income effect and substitution effect always work in the same direction for normal good. As you can see here, if you want, you can highlight in your slide. You can see that income effect and substitution effect work in the same direction for normal good. And we can sum up that when they work in the same direction, so when the price decrease, the total effect we have is a positive side. It means the quantity of demand always increase. So for normal good, price decrease, the people consume more, the quantity of demand increase because the total effect is positive. And when the price increase, the income effect is negative, substitution effect is negative, and the people consume less. Total effect negative, people consume less. Okay, and that's why when you plot the quantity of demand on the y-axis and the price on the x-axis, high price, low quantity of demand. Okay, and lower price, so it is. Okay, let me. And then, so you can search, just search the demand curve. So you can see that the quantity of demand on the y-axis and rise or vice versa. They can put the price on the y-axis. Doesn't matter. But you always see a downward demand for normal good. Negative relationship between is very understandable, right? So higher price, lower quantity of demand, bigger and lower price, higher quantity of demand, and higher price, lower quantity of demand. So negative relationship between price and quantity of demand, because the income effect and substitution effect work in the same direction. But for inferior goods, the income effect and substitution effect here work in opposite direction. So you can see that if the price decrease, so basically when the price decrease, people feel that, wow, now we are richer and we consume less inferior good. So we are in better position, better financial position. So they may switch to like higher quality product and they consume less. But the substitution effect work the same. So we assume that people are rational. So where for every your decision, you base on the opportunity cost of that choice. Because the price decrease, the people still consume that kind of inferior good more. The substitution effect is easier to understand. Okay, so substitution effect work in the same direction for both normal good and inferior good here. As you can see, same direction, normal good and inferior good. So higher, lower price or higher quantity of demand for both normal good and inferior good. But income effect here, this one, I would say this one you should highlight. You can say highlight this one. This one is a little bit counterintuitive. Okay, so be careful with this case. When the box when I highlight, you can see that. Okay, so be aware of the detail box. Okay, so it's counterintuitive. So counterintuitive, it means it's like different from what we suppose. So in common sense. So for inferior good, price decrease, people consume less. And price increase, people consume more. So income effect, counterintuitive for inferior good. And when the income effect and substitution effect work in the opposite direction, like this case and this case, you can see that the total effect is undetermined. It's ambiguous. We cannot determine if the total effect is positive or negative. So that's problem. So if the income effect is greater than the substitution effect, the total effect would be negative, right? And vice versa, if the substitution effect is greater than income effect, the total effect would be positive. Okay? But we don't know which one is stronger. Okay? So it depends on even a different kind of inferior good. So for the case of price, so basically, if the income effect is greater than the substitution effect and the total effect is negative, then vice versa, when the price increase, the income effect greater than substitution effect, total effect is positive. Then it helps us to answer this question. The price of rice increases, people buy more rice because the total effect is positive. Okay, but so you have to evaluate which one income effect or substitution effect is stronger for inferior good. Okay, so this is a good way to summarize everything. So please write down this one yourself and that help you to summarize the substitution and income effect for normal good and inferior good. So basically, remember that be careful with the income effect for inferior good, the one that I highlight here. Okay, it is not intuitive or counterintuitive. This one is easier to understand. So for this one, if you are in the exam and you don't remember exactly, that doesn't matter because you can guess, you can evaluate yourself, right? You know that, okay, when the price increase, there are less demand, okay? Because for substitution effect and vice versa, and for normal good, it's easier for you to guess. But for this one, be careful. Now, let's, so like the same way on Wednesday when we use graph to demonstrate the optimal choice, we demonstrate the tangency between the basic line and the IC in different curves. And here, the same logic here, we use the graph to decompose, differentiate the substitution and income effect. Okay, because when what we observe in the market, so when the price goes up or go down, the quantity of demand of that kind of product increase or decrease. So actually we capture both the income and substitution effect. Now let's differentiate the two effects to see clearly how they work. Okay, so first, let's say we have film. People go for films, so go for movie on the y axis and go for meals, food on the x-axis. And let's say if the price of food increase, the price of food increases. So it has two effects, income effect and substitution effect. Okay, so first let's talk about the basic line. The red one, BL0, is your original basic line, given your limited income. Okay, so what happened when the price of meal increase? So what we did in the first tutorial. What happened if the price of meals increase? So step by step. So what we plot in the graph on the tutorial last week. No, it's not safe. No. So if the income change, let's say the income decrease, it's shift the basic line to the left, parallel to the initial one. Okay. So if we hold the price constant, the relative price constant, and the income decrease, yeah, it's very annoying to teach online like this. Okay, so let's say if the income decrease, can you see what I plot here? Okay, that's good. Small, right? Okay. So let's say if the income change, oh, all right. So if your income change, your income decrease, that would shift the basic line to the left, parallel to the original one like this. In that case, we call the basic line shift. Okay, it does not change the slope of the basic line because the relative price are the same. So that we just said. But here the question is, because only the price of meal increase and we hold the price of film constant. So the intercept still here. And we say the basic line, we rotate the basic line to the left like X. Okay, because only the relative price change. So we change the slope. So now the slope are different. The slope are different now. If I plot it here, like the slope change. Okay. So this slope are different from this slope. So it's steeper because the price of mu increase relative to the price of film. Okay. So basically, the data, what we say, the change in relative price. But the problem is because increase in the price of mu that lead to the new basic line BL1. Okay, BL1 basically we rotate BL0 to BL1. So now if you spend money, all of your money on film, you still consume the same level of film, but if you spend all of your money on mu, so you only consume less film, right? From QM to QMA. Now, let's talk about optimal choice. The original optimal choice is 0.8. The tangency between UO, your utility level. So the original IC use O, and if you intersect with the BL0, so you get the optimal choice at original price of Bowwood. Okay? Can you follow me? So now the problem is the price of mules increase and that rotate the basic line from BL0 to BL1. So now imagine that you are a rational consumer and you make optimal choice. Then you still need to find the tangency between the indifferent curve IC with your new basic line and that point C. Okay, so now we shift the IC from UO to U1. Given that we assume that your preference does not change in the short term. Okay, so point C is your new optimal choice given the price of mu increase. Okay, are you okay? Nghỉ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, good. We have a 10 student here. So almost. So how about you? One of you, Hiền Anh, Đạt, Bảo, Huy, Hùng, Quyên, Vi, Ngọc. Can you follow me? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
All good, right? So I need to make sure that you understand the substitution effect and income effect clearly. It's very important for the midterm tests. And also, like it's very easy for the remaining lecture of topic 2 if you can understand the substitution and income effect. Okay. So now the movement between boy A and boy C, basically it captures both effect, income and substitution effect here. And now let's decompose or differentiate the total effect into substitution effect and income effect. Okay, so let's say like in the test, so if we gave you a graph and ask you which one is substitution effect, which one is income effect, you need to differentiate. Okay, so basically the total effect when you switch from boy A to boy C, so the quantity of product you consume originally QMA to QMC, so that's a total effect. Okay, and now let's differentiate the effect. First, let's talk about substitution effect. So here we are talking about normal good. Okay. So we ask this question: what would be the consumption with the new relative price? Okay, slow PL1 and the old utility level U0. Okay, so basically when we ask this kind of questions, because the relative price actually change, the slope change, right? The relative price between mu and films change. That's why we rotate the BL. Okay, so but we ask to identify the substitution effect, we ask the question here: what would be the consumption with the new relative price, the new new slope, new BL1, and the old utility level? So remember the property of the IC. So each IC represents one level of utility, and any point on the IC give you the same utility level. Okay. Sorry. So basically here, when we shift the let's say BLH for hypothetical, or we assume. Okay. So we save the new budget line from BL1 parallel to make it tangent to the IC, the original IC U0, and we get point P. So what does it mean? So we save the new BL1 parallel and until it be tangent to the IC, original IC, and we get point P. Okay, so it means when the price of mules increase, so assume that it doesn't matter of your income. It doesn't matter of your income. Okay, let's say we hold income constant. It doesn't matter of your income. So if we change the relative price between meal and food, people are likely to switch from consume less meal and more food to make them, to keep them the same level of utility from point A to point B. That's a substitution effect, right? So when the price of one good increase, people are likely to consume that good less and consume the other more. Okay, but here regardless of the income. So income doesn't matter here. So if the price of meal increase, people are likely to switch from point A to point B to have the same level of utility. So that's a substitution effect. Okay. So point B, the switch from point A to point B represent the substitution effect. It gives you the same level of utility given the relative price of meal increase over the price of meal over film increase. Relative price of meal compared to film increase. People consume less film and less meals and more films. So that's a substitution effect. Okay, so substitution effect is very easy to understand. We have two goods. The price of that kind of good increase, people consume less. So point A to point B, the substitution effect. Okay, so substitution effect is for both normal and inferior good and negative for a change in its own price. That's what we summarized before. So the change from QMA to QMB represent the substitution effect. And now let's talk about income effect for normal good. The income effect represent the change in the quantity demanded due to the fall in the real income at a constant relative price. So in previous figure, we hold income constant because the price of milk increased, but no matter what your income are, okay, we hold income constant. Here, for the income effect, we hold the relative price constant. Okay, and now we switch back the BLH to BLY. So from BLH to BLY, so basically the slope are the same, right? And that represents the relative price of mu and over film is the same from BLH to BL1. So from the purple to the red one, BL1, the slope are the same because they are parallel, right? So now, as you can see that the switch from point B to point C, so but basically represent the income effect. Now you have no way to keep your utility the same. You have to, you consume less. Okay, and remember that the income effect shift the budget line inward, okay, parallel when the relative price are the same. What I just talked with Nghị 10 minutes before. Okay, so from BLH to BL1 represent the income effect. So in total, from point A to point B represent the substitution effect. And point B to point C represent the income effect. Okay, so the total effect equal to substitution effect and income effect. So for a normal good, substitution effect and income effect work in the same direction. When the price increase, the people consume less because of substitution effect, and when the price increase, people consume less because of income effect. Like this one, the total effect is negative. Like the one I'm highlighting here, this one, it's round. Okay. Again, now we are in better position to answer these questions. Why the price of good? When the price of rice increases, people buy more rice. Because for inferior good, substitution effect and income effect work in the opposite direction. So we don't know which exactly which one is dominated. But if income effect dominate, so when the price increase, people may consume more, like this one. For inferior good, when the price increase, if the income effect is greater than the substitution effect, the total effect would be positive and people consume more. Okay. Yeah. The answer for that kind of puzzle. Price is an inferior good. And in this case, the income effect outweighs the substitution effect. And we call that rice, instant noodle, food stamp, basket, given good economic term related to this economics given, who suggest the backward sloping curve of given good. People consume more at the price level. Okay, so basically for given good, usually the income effect greater than the substitution effect. So it is very rare case. Okay. So in reality, we don't have many markets, many kind of good that we classify given good. So it happens rarely. Mostly substitution effect greater than income effect. That's more common, but rarely income effect greater than substitution effect. We call that a given good. So price increase, people consume more. Okay. And don't forget to check out the video on the new Nuku. Any question? Ngọc, do you have any question?
No.
Are you okay?
Yes.
How about you, Phượng? Are you okay, Phượng? So, all of you are studying from home now, except Nghị, right?
Yes.
Where you live in Nghị? Which district? Bến Lức, Long An. Yeah, so you travel every day by bus? Oh, okay, okay. You are living in Hồ, US Hồ, Võ Thị Sáu, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, so be careful. So Tân Bình is okay, but District 7 or Bình Chánh is problem. Okay, so if you guys okay with the income and substitution effect, now more good and you feel it good, so we can move on with the labor market. So like so again, please check out all the video on the new Google and spend time reviewing the income effect and substitution effect, normal good and inferior good yourself. So like, so I think it's better. So it's more efficient when you learn yourself, and that help you to remember the concept for a longer time. So compared to when somebody told me, okay, the concept is something like that. Probably like in class, I told you that, I shared with you the concept, you remember, you understand in the class, but like several days after that, you may forget it. But if you review it yourself, you may keep it like for a very long time. I don't know, several years, probably. Okay, so please spend your time reviewing tutorial. So if you have any problem, anything that you still be confused about this stuff, talk with me on Wednesday. Okay. So now let's talk about the labor and leisure trade-off. So we will now apply the same framework, the same strategy. How can we maximize our utility in terms of how much we should work and how long we should spend for our leisure? Okay, so what is the trade-off here? Trade-off here is work and leisure. Okay, and what is the limited constraint? What is the constraint here? Do you want to unmute? Do you want to unmute your Nate? Are you talking with me? Okay, that's good. So what is the trade-off here, Nate? Yeah, yeah, that's good. So basically, we work more income, more consumption. So better material life, but it means less time for family, less time for happy, less time for rest, right? So basically, um, each time of leisure is basically the opportunity cost of each time of leisure is the income that you forgive from your work, right? And vice versa, more consumption means you have to sacrifice the family time, sacrifice even your health, your hobbies, your interests, your social life. Okay, so 1 hour more, 1 more hour for working, so 1 less hour for rest, for family, for leisure. So what is the constraint here? The constraint is, what is the constraint here? So when we make the optimal choice previously, the constraint is your current income, right? Ordinary income that you can spend on two goods. So what is the constraint here? Hiền Anh, what is the constraint here, Hiền Anh?
Mm,
What is the constraint here?
the constraint.
Yes. So in economics, we have to make a lot of trade-off, right?
Yeah.
And why we have to make the trade-off? Because we face scarcity. All resources in our life is limited. So do you think that people are immortal? We cannot live forever, right? So what
No,
is the constraint here?
actually we need to trade off like if we spend time to do some things, so like we need to trade off like not doing something else.
Yeah. So the constraint here is time, right?
Yes.
We only have 40 hours per day. We have, so on average, the life expectation of Vietnam, the life expectancy of Vietnam is nowadays around more than 70 years old, 73, I think so. So on average, so you have, so after graduation from, let's say your bachelor, you are 22. So let's say you have roughly like 40 or 50 years around for working, and then we cannot live forever. So you have 12 years from primary, primary, middle, and high school. After that, you spend 4 years for your bachelor, and then you have the rest 40 years for your working and your life, family time, and everything that we can spend on. So time is limited here. How time is a budget constraint. So when we make the decision between the labor and leisure, we talk about 24-hour day, right? And then when we talk about the saving decision, consume today or consume tomorrow, we talk about our life. So we have a working period and retirement period. So that's time preference here. Okay. So now, given the time is constraint, we have to make decision. So now let's the same. We have a question here. What happens if the hourly wage increasing and the people work less? What is going on? Because so in the labor market, we are the supply of demand, right? We are the consumer in the good markets. So we represent for the demand curve. But in the labor market, we are on the supply. The firms are represent for the demand on the labor market. They buy our labor. We sell our labor. Okay. So when the hourly wage increasing, so normally in a common sense, what do you think? When our wage increase, so we should work more, work less. more or less. Nghĩ. Yeah, so agree, totally agree. So basically depend on each preference. But it's unique to you need money to survive, right? You need money for your daily life. At least you need a standard of like you have a threshold or income for your standard life, right? So everybody have to find bread and butter for our life, for our family. Okay. Normally, if you are a rational worker, if the firm offer you higher wage, you want to work more or work less. So anybody else can tell me what do you think? Bảo, what do you think?
Ừm, mình
We should work more or less when they give us high wage, high income.
like what happened when we get high income?
So probably you wage or earning here. So income because we have real income and monetary income. So let's talk about income later. So if I gave you a high wage, you should work more or less. More or less.
Ừm,
Okay, that's just fine. Okay. Every answer is fine with me because it depends on your current financial situation. Okay. The poor and the rich may behave different ways. So that's the topic here. So again, we apply the income effect and substitution effect here. Okay. So imagine that our wage cut up the price of our labor. So the income effect and substitution effect work in opposite way. So that's why the poor and the rich may behave in different way. Okay, so but rationally, we expect that when the hourly wage increases, people may work more. So that's common sense, right? Because when the wage increase, basically the reward or the return of working increase. Okay, so and the people likely to work more, but to determine the labor supply is not as straightforward because we have to evaluate income or substitution effect is stronger here. The same framework like what we did with a normal good and inferior good. So now we assume that, as usual, we assume that the people work to earn income, which they use to buy product. The workers are interested in the real wage, okay? And the real wage is a nominal wage. So we not only care about nominal wage, but the real wage. So real wage is a nominal wage adjusted to the inflation. So inflation basically the price level. Okay. So to keep it as simple as possible now, when you think about inflation, just think about a price level. We have a topic about macroeconomics later on, so we can talk about inflation or GDP later, or unemployment rate. But now, when somebody told you about inflation, just think about a price level. Higher inflation means higher price level. And if you have the same nominal wage after taxes, and then if the price level increase, it means your real wage decrease because your purchasing power decrease. Okay, so let's say your wage is like 10 million Vietnam dong 10 years ago, you can buy many goods, but nowadays you cannot buy as much at that time. Okay, so we have the P represent for the price of consumption, so the price level. Real wage, small W equal to large W, so large W basically the nominal wage, and small W here is the real wage, and P for price level. So we apply the same logic from the good market to the labor market. Okay, so small wage, small W represent how much you can buy from your wage. Okay, how much you can consume from your wage. So the people, the worker face a trade-off between the consumption good and the leisure or good purchased from your labor income. Okay, so we should work more to have more income to consume more, or we should take more rest and have more family time. And again, here the set of choices is limited by the amount of time a person has available to per day for working and leisure. So we have totally 24 hours per day for both working and leisure time. And we say the wage. So basically, it's the opportunity cost of the leisure in terms of dollar term. Okay, so imagine like wing. Okay, so imagine that. So you have a part-time job. So like when you go to New Zealand, you are I think for student visa, they allow you to work maximum 20 hours per week, as I remember, but I don't know if they change the policy now. So 20 hours per week, the maximum time that allows student visa for that you can work. If you have a work visa, you can work much more, but here is student visa maximum 20 hours per week. So basically 20 hours per week you are working part-time. Let's say, so they pay you like 20 New Zealand dollar per hour. But today you don't want to work. You want to go to coffee, you want to play sport, you want to go cinema with your friends. So you go for 2 hours. It means you have to give up 40 New Zealand dollar. Okay, so the opportunity cost of the leisure with the leisure of the opportunity cost of 2 hours for entertainment with your friends cost you 40 New Zealand dollar. Okay, and 20 and 40 New Zealand dollar is the opportunity cost of 2 hours for leisure. Okay, so an additional hour of leisure means an hour less work and correspond to the amount of money that you have to give up. Remember what is the opportunity cost is. Opportunity cost is the best alternative we have to give up for our decision. So you go for fun, you have to, not only the money that you pay for the tickets, cinema ticket, or coffee or something like that, you have to give up other alternative. Okay, so you think of the trade-off and the trade-off between leisure represented by H and the consumption represented by C. C for consumption and H for leisure. And the best choice here, basically, we still apply the equi-marginal principle. Okay, the best choice here equate the benefit from an extra hour of work. Okay, so one additional hour of work equal to represent the additional consumption that you can make from the income, the wage. And with the marginal cost of that hour, the value of an additional hour of leisure. So basically, we applied the same equimarginal principle here. The marginal utility of consumption over the price of consumption equal to the marginal utility of leisure over the price of leisure. And the price of leisure is the wage. The wage represents the opportunity cost, the price of leisure. Okay? Your wage represents the price of your leisure. So we take the marginal utility of consumption over the price of consumption, and we equalize it with the marginal utility of leisure over the price of leisure. And we call that the equimarginal principle in the labor market. And at this optimal choice, you get the highest possible utility level, highest satisfaction, given your limited time, 24 hours, and the price of consumption and the price of leisure. Price of consumption is price of good, and price of leisure is your wage. Okay, so we apply the same, as you can see that we apply the same logic here. So we have 24 hours, and your 24 hours you spend on two activity, or you can say two goods. On the y-axis, you have consumption. You spend, if you want to make more consumption, you have to work more. And you can say this one is work and this one is leisure. Okay. Okay. So on the y-axis, we work and you can see more. Here, you take leisure and no income for consumption. So because the limited time is 24 hours, if at this point here, can you see my screen? What are you drinking? Coffee? Drink black coffee. New Zealand is also very famous with. Okay, so New Zealand is also famous with their coffee. So at this point, what does it mean this boy nghĩ? This one, can you see what I highlight here? What does it mean? You don't work. You don't work. Okay. Okay. So somebody can help nghĩ. Huy, what does it mean, Huy?
Sorry, can you please repeat that?
Pardon?
Can you please repeat that?
So what does it mean? Can you see what I'm highlighting here?
Yeah,
What
the
does it
hours
mean?
of leisure.
So you don't work, right? We spend all of 24 hours for leisure.
Yeah, so you know, my hours of leisure should be like on the bottom currently.
This one? This one? So what does it mean? 24 hours. The intercept. Yeah, so basically the intersection with the x-axis, and x-axis represent the hour for leisure. So here you only have a 24 hours per day, and you spend all 24 hours per day for leisure. You don't work here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, and you have no income. So your income is zero, so no consumption. Okay, Here, what does it mean here, Huy?
It means that you work all day and you don't have any fun.
Yes, you work all day. You don't have any time for fun, for family, even for sleeping. Okay, so here, so assuming that your wage is W, and if you work all the day, 24 hours, so this is the maximum wage that you can earn from your daily work. 24 hours, so wage measure in hourly wage. You time with 24 hours, and this is a maximum earning that you can earn for a day. And this is the maximum consumption that you can make from your income. Does it make sense? So it is the intercept when we represent the basic line, like what we did with a good market. So this is represent the intercept. Can you still see my screen? So this is represent the intercept, and the slope of it basic line is minus W. So minus W is your wage, and because the wage is the opportunity cost of leisure. Okay, that represents the relative price of leisure and work. So this is the slope, and it is the intercept, like what we did with the good market. Okay, so X point is blue one, the intersection between your utility level, IC, with the basic line. The basic line represents 24 hours that you have to spend on working and leisure. So here at the blue one, so assume that this one is 1/3. So you work like this one's, you take H1 hour for leisure. So the time for working is 24 minus H1. Let's say this one, let's say 60%. I assume this one is 60. So what does it mean at point blue here? Phượng, can you help me? Phượng. Phượng ơi, where are you?
I'm here.
Okay, so what does it mean at point B? Point the blue one here. I assume that you take 16 hours per day for your leisure, for your sleep, for your family, for your rest, everything, except from working. So what does it mean? Somebody can help Phượng. Ngọc, what does it mean? What does it mean, Ngọc?
I think it means we have 8 hours of work and 16 hours that we could use for sleep and leisure times.
Yeah. So we take 16 hours for leisure. So it means we choose to work for 8 hours per day. So this is the income, the total earning that you get from your work per day. So 8 hours time hourly wage. So this is the maximum consumption that you can make even you work for 8 hours per day. Okay, so it's for this one, the blue one, this is your optimal choice, because it is the tangency between the IC you want with your basic time constraint. It is the optimal decision for you. Okay, you earn the highest utility, highest satisfaction from both consumption and rest. Okay, so the same logic we applied previously. Good. So we can extend the labor leisure model to incorporate other factors that influence one decision to work. Because in reality, the people not only have income from labor market, but they have cut off non-labor income represented by E, small e. Okay, because somebody probably they have negative income. So let's say the income from labor market, we call that a positive income. You work, you earn income. You don't work, nothing. But somebody have non-labor income, probably from saving, okay, from investment, from real estate, rents, from, I don't know, pension, social welfare, Bitcoin, anything. Okay, so they have kind of non-labor income. And that can be incorporated in the budget constraint. This one. So here, what does it mean? V? Are you there, V? Can you help me? What does it mean here when we incorporate the non-labor income? So V is not there. So Nghị has a question. We still get utility from work, because I think it's hard to get satisfied from work. Because if we don't work, we don't have income. So no income, no consumption. How can you how can you be happy all the day if you have no income, no consumption? Just sleep all the day and you feel it's happy enough for our life. It doesn't make sense, right? So we have to balance here between time for working for material life and time for rest, for leisure. Okay. Somebody to choose like they work like 10 hours a day. Somebody choose work like 7 or 6 hours a day, or even 4 hours a day, because we have a different preference in terms of the consumption. Somebody like they love like high-tech product, modern product, luxury product, so they try to work more to consume more that kind of product. Of course, it has to have enough time for sleep, for family. Somebody they don't have much like demand in terms of material, so they just work less and enjoy their life. So we have different utility. So we have different shape of IC. We have different slope of the IC because we have different preference. Of course, I agree with you, Nghị. So the society is very complicated, right? But I think that we should still work, even like not in terms of consumption, but work also bring us some happiness. If we can balance between work and leisure. We work, you have colleges, you have friends, you have I think like it helps for our social life, and also, like we have kind of the demand that we talk in the first lecture, the Maslow, right? People have many demands, and not only food and clothing. So I think work still make us happiness. Not only in terms of consumption. Here we assume to make it as simple as possible. Work, more income, more consumption, more utility from consumption. So now, if we incorporate a non-labor income here, you can see that even when the people don't work, it's if the budget line our work, right? Or you can say it's if the budget line up. Because even if you, for guys that have non-labor income, a negative income, let's say from saving or from retirement pension, something like that, even they don't work any hour, they still have some consumption here, right? So even if you don't work and you have a non-labor income, you still can make some consumption. Okay. You don't work, you still can consume, you can still buy goods if you have non-labor income. Okay. So and again, the intercept save the distance of your non-labor income, your total income from labor income and non-labor income. So basically, the people who have a non-labor income, they have more choices. For us, if we don't have non-labor income, we have mostly people have to work for bread and butter. Otherwise, how can we survive? Okay. So now, let's talk about what happens if wage change. The same logic here in a goods market. When the price change, we have an income and substitution effect. And here, when we talk about labor market, wage is the price of our labor. And when the price of our labor change, it has two effects: substitution effect and income effect. Okay. So in terms of the substitution effect, if the wage increase, the relative return to working increase. And that encourages people to work more and less leisure. Okay, because when the wage increase, so basically the price of the leisure, the opportunity cost of leisure increase, the price of leisure increase. So people consume less leisure and they switch to work more. Okay, that's the substitution effect we talked before. But in terms of real income effect, that would be a little bit complicated. Assuming that leisure is a normal good and work is an inferior good. If the wage increase, the income increase, the wage increase make people feel that they richer. Okay, when they feel that their real income increases, so basically that allow people to work less. Okay, because inferior, if we consider work is inferior good, like what we say. So work cannot always bring happiness. Sometimes it's very miserable. A lot of sadness, a lot of pushes stuff from working, of course. But anyway, the income effect is a little bit complicated. Here, when the wage increase, when you are rich enough, you don't want to work anymore. Does it make sense? So that's like, like now Steve Jobs, oh no, not Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg. So now this guy don't work much, right? So they develop Facebook and now Meta, a very big country now, a big company nowadays. And actually I feel that I see that he just enjoy his life now. he has too much money now. Okay, so he care more about leisure. I'll think about like Bill Gates, something like that. For us, when the wage increase, probably we may work more because our substitution effect dominate the income effect. But for the rich people, probably the income effect dominate and they work less when the wage increase. So the total effect of wage rise on our work is not straightforward because it depends on which one, income effect or substitution effect, dominate. A lower wage decrease the relative return to working, reduction in working hours, that's substitution effect. Low wage also decrease the real income, increase in the working hour income effect. Okay. So imagine that, for example, like for the rich people, if the wage decrease, they work less probably. Other people like with standard level of income. So for like white collar worker like us, if the wage decrease, probably we work less. Or they just increase the income tax, probably we work less incentive for working. But think about like, how about like the people with low income, like rapper or something like that. So if the wage decrease, probably they have to work more to maintain the same level of consumption, right? The living standard. If their current income is too low, and when the wage decrease, probably they have to work more, even they have to work more to maintain the same level of consumption, the living standard. So that's a problem. Okay. And when we summarize, add up all the income effect and substitution effect in the labor market, we have this one. This one called a backward bending labor supply curve. Okay. So as you can see that when the wage is low here, the substitution effect may dominate the income effect. And when the wage, let's say from W0 to W1, the people work more. So for low income, for low wage worker, so if they increase the wage, they work more, because substitution effect is stronger. But for people, for rich guy, for CEO, for manager, for director, because they already have very high income, even now you increase their income, probably they work less. Okay, they're too rich, they feel that they need more time for leisure. So that problem, we have to determine which one is strong, income or substitution effect. Okay, for this one, when hourly wage increases, people work less. That represents the bending part of labor supply curve. Income effect stronger than substitution. So imagine, like, think about the guy with very high wage, very high income, like CEO of the bank or the rich guy, right? Even when you increase wage, they work less. But for low income worker, you increase for low income workers, so basically if the wage increase, they have to, normally they work more. That problem. And check out a video trade-off on the labor laser trade-off on YouTube. And let's wrap up topic 2 with another decision. Now we apply the same framework to maximize utility given the budget constraint to the saving market, financial market. So we will model the saving decision at 2 choices between consumption today or consumption in the future. Consumption in the future means you have to delay your consumption today. Okay, so what is the trade-off here? So for most people, probably consumption today bring more benefit, right? People always prefer something consumption, likely to consume something as soon as possible. But the trade-off, the benefit of consumption in the future, that you can save the money. You can earn some interest rate, increase the purchasing power in the future. You delay your consumption today and you actually can spend more in the future. So that's the trade-off here. Okay. So the saving decision is a choice between 2 goods. Let's say the consumption today and consumption in the future. Consumption today, we call that C1. Consumption in the future, let's say C2. So there are 3 factors that you have to consider when determining should consume today or save and consume for in the future. First, depending on your income level. Okay, the income that you have to conceal or save. Second, the interest rate, because it determines the return of saving. Okay, the benefit, the return from your saving, the benefit, the return from your delaying of consumption today, and how much people care about the current consumption relative to the future consumption. We call that a time preference. Okay, some people are, let's say, they are very impatient, so they prefer to go to the market right away to buy something if they want it. For people, if they worry about the future, probably they will likely to save the money because they worry about the future. So that's a problem. So now we apply the same concept here, and we are suppose that person had two working periods. Working period, we call that period 1, and retirement period 2. So in period 1, in retirement period, you earn a labor income for W1, so wage for labor income, so basically in our working period. And let's say we receive some pension, W2 in the period 2, retirement period. And the link between these two periods is the interest rate. Okay, real interest rate. So this is something we call the intertemporal budget constraint. The budget constraint represents a possible combination of consumption in the working period and in the retirement period. If the person consumes all the income during the working day period, there are no saving available for their retirement period. Okay, and the budget constraint shows a trade-off. A person can consume less now and more later, but they must wait to consume. Of course, people love consuming now relative to later. But if the benefit of delaying consumption, you have more money in the future because of there's some interest rate, and you can expand your consumption in the future. So the relative cost of consuming $1 today is 1 times 1 plus R. R is the interest rate. So if you delay consuming $1 today, you have 1 times 1 plus interest rate for consumption in the future. Okay, can you follow me? So basically, if you spend $1 today, and let's say the interest rate is 5%, or let's say 10%, if you don't spend $1 in the beginning of the year and you delay it to the end of the year, you have $1.1 at the end of the year for consuming. Let's say you deposit that kind of money in a bank account and you earn 10% interest rate. Okay, and it is the strategy for the optimal decision. So PV represent the present value, and FV the future value, future consumption represent on the y-axis, and current consumption represent on the x-axis. Okay, let's say in the working period you earn the income of W1, but you want to, let's say for the people, if you consume more than your income, more than what you have earned from your labor. So let's say for here, you have to borrow some money and repay the debt later. Here, you can see exactly what you earn from your job. So no saving, no borrowing. Here, you save some money from this one to this one. Here to here. Okay, you save some money for future, and you earn the interest rate of R. Okay, so if you consume less than W1 here, from this boy to this boy, you save some money, and we call you the saver. The people on the lower of the basic line from here to here, we call that a borrower because you spend more than what you have. And the price of a dollar that you consume today is 1 plus R, and it is the slope of the basic line, interest rate. And again, what happened if the interest rate are increasing? The price of the consumption today increasing. So assume that consumption today and consumption in the future are normal goods. So for a saver, so basically for a saver, when the real interest rate increase, your real income increase because you have some saving. When its interest rate increase, your real income increase. Okay, so basically you consume. So basically you want to save more. Okay, substitution effect that support you to save more, and the income effect also work in the same direction. You feel that you are richer and you consume more for the future. You save more for the future. Okay, but the problem is the substitution effect work in the opposite direction for the consumption today. Because the income effect makes you feel that you richer and you can consume more now. Okay, but because of the substitution effect, it real interest rate increase, that it means the opportunity cost of consumption today increase. That's why you consume now less and consume the future more. And in total, the total effect for consumption in now is undetermined, ambiguous here. So we don't know exactly if a saver should consume now more or less if interest rate increase, but definitely they will save more for the future. They will consume more for the future. It means save more for the future. Save more for the future means they have more money in the future for consumption. Okay, and the same logic here for borrower. If interest rate increase, it means if they want to consume now more, they have to pay more debt in the future. So they are less likely to consume now. The substitution effect is negative. And also the income effect is negative. They feel that they're poorer, so they don't want to consume more now. They consume less now. So in total, for a borrower, if the real interest rate, the price of saving increase, that make them consume less now. But the impact on the consumption in the future, so saving is ambitious. Okay, so probably a little bit complicated to talk about saving decision. But anyway, for labor leisure decision or saving and consumption, so basically saving market and labor market, we apply the same concept, the same framework that we apply in the lecture on topic 2, which is the optimal decision based on our budget construct. And see if income effect or substitution effect dominate, driven the total effect. Okay, so please spend time reviewing all the lecture and topic 2, and next week on Wednesday we have a tutorial before move on to the producer choice. So I would like to have some tutorial on this topic. Okay, so any question? Any question, everybody? This one? The utility, you mean change the utility? So that's a time preference. So basically the utility function, the IC represent our preference, right? So basically outpace our preference. So in a good market that represent, let's say, like consuming like food, our firm give you different level of utility. So it represent your preference. So the same logic here when we talk about IT in the saving market. So some people really want to consume now. Some people they like kind of like worry too much about the future. So you can say the risk aversion and risk taker. So basically somebody came out of future, they don't want to consume now. But somebody like, let's say, just think about when a new product, new iPhone, new car, new motorbike, new clothes, new season of kind of brands come in and they really want to go to the store to pick it up. So everybody have a different time preference. Okay, so we apply the same logic here intuitively. Okay, so any other questions? Anybody? Okay, thank you everyone. So sometime I think, yeah, I think it's better to have class offline, so we can talk easier and share our talk. But sometimes I think that's good for us to practice switch into online mode. You know, like that's very common even in New Zealand. So yeah, they have many earthquake there, and sometimes we have to switch to online mode. So see you on Wednesday. And bring your laptop and we run the tutorial on Wednesday. Take care. So let's talk about let's talk about it on Wednesday. Okay. So everybody probably feel too tired now. So enjoy your weekend. Review a lecture, substitution income effect, and I'm happy with all you guys. See you. I'm leaving. See you.